Hi, Claudia. How are
It's
you?
so good to see you. You keep looking younger.
Thank you. Good. I'm going backwards. That's a good thing.
Yeah, you're really taking good care of yourself. So good to see you. And thank you
Thank
for
you. Good
doing
to see
this
you
with
too.
us
My
today.
pleasure. Thank you for
Yeah,
having me.
today is the International Families Day, and one of the themes says strengthening family bonds. And that's why I said, what is that one thing that actually weakens the family bond? And that is actually yelling.
Absolutely.
you know. Well, before we start off, I will just quickly do a brief summary of your bio. Okay, so Cecilia Kibler is an award-winning Mom's Choice Award. That's amazing. And the
Thank
author
you.
of Raising Happy Toddlers, How to Build Great Parenting Skills and Stop Yelling at Your Kids. She's also an international speaker. She's a family empowerment coach and the founder of the International Day of Calm. So you see why she has to be the one to talk about this.
Exactly. I'm the calm crusader.
Calm Crusade. And now where the world, everybody's under a mental health breakdown. Imagine, so we need this. She's also the mom of 5 kids. She gave birth to two, three she gained from marriage, as well as a grandma of 9. So,
My
I mean,
blessings.
the experience. I know that having a blended family is not an easy task. How have you been able to manage that?
With intention and understanding that these children
Yeah.
that are in this blended family did not ask for this. None of this
Um,
is their fault.
yes.
And the parents have to understand that you are putting them into a stressful situation,
Mm,
and it is up to
mm,
you to create as much calm and as much understanding for those
wow.
children so that so that, the kids can work with each other, work with you, give them grace, give them time. Don't expect
Mm,
the minute you blend a family for everything to be
mm,
perfect. These kids don't
mm,
know each other, they don't know you, and they didn't ask for any of it.
yeah.
So you have to be very understanding. You have to explain a lot. You have to give them time to get used to you and your children and really give the family time to know each other while being respectful through all of it and understanding their emotional ups and downs, because there are going to be emotional ups and downs.
I just thought to bring this out because I know some people might be in the same position where it's really difficult. I mean, think about you raising your own biological children, and some days you want to pull out your hair, and then now you have acquired other children, and just the perspective from which you speak just changes the whole narrative. You begin to feel empathy rather than you feeling as a victim, isn't it?
Absolutely. And it's hard too, because you have all these parents in the mix. So you
Mm,
raised your kids the way you wanted to. Now you have these extra children, these
yeah.
bonus children, who are being raised by other people,
Okay.
not you. So they bring into it all this multiple dynamics
Mm,
of
mm,
what they learned growing up, depending on what age they are.
mm,
So if they're older, they've already had years of parenting by whoever parented them.
mm,
Not you.
mm,
If they're younger, you're able to help them, be a better person
mm.
along with their parents. And a lot of times there's a lot of ugliness, and none
Wow.
of the adults, because of ego, want to get along. So it's
Mm,
really great if egos can be put aside, because honestly, they have no place in a blended family.
yeah.
And so much that's what causes all the aggravation and the yelling and all of that, because everybody is now like in competition.
Yeah.
Who's going to be the best parent?
Best
When they
parent.
should be focused on what is the best we can do for our children.
Mm, mm. Thank you so much. And then I want to welcome everyone. I've been out of social media for a while, but I'm here today. Really happy to be doing this with my favorite person. Now let's get to the topic. Yelling. Hmm.
Yelling or not yelling. Yelling or
Why?
not.
Why do parents yell? When they have you see a mom has a baby, oh, she's all mushy, and then the next year she's yelling. She's like, how is this possible? It's like one garment just drops on you. You are all loving and caring, and now you're the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do parents yell?
So yelling comes from many places.
Mm,
Usually frustration, number one.
mhm,
Parents will yell because that's how they were raised. So they don't
mm,
know any different.
mm,
They were
mm.
raised by people that yelled at them and hit them. So that's what they bring into their family.
Yeah.
Or they are trying very hard not to yell, but they emotionally don't have their own emotional regulation to control their temper. The last issue is, and I get a lot of this from parents, and we're going to learn how to solve this, is that parents will say, well, I start out, I ask my child very nicely, I use my manners, I smile, I ask them over and over and over again, and they don't listen until I yell. It's like, and I know you saw some of the parents say this before in getting ready for this conversation. It's like they want me to yell at them. Nobody wants to be yelled at.
Mm,
Nobody.
mm,
Your children do not want you to yell at them. So
mhm.
if you're thinking that, you are mistaken. No, do you like to be yelled at? No, nobody likes
No,
to be.
no, no. But just like you said, I think we really need to, that's the main focus because the issue is response. I want my child to respond to what I am saying. I'm talking about something and I need my child to respond by doing what I want him or her to do. But if I don't, it's only when the fear factor, the threats, the yells, then the child gets up to do something about whatever is being said. So
Right.
why do we get to that point where we have to use the fear energy to get them
So
to do? Yeah.
number one, we're being reactive. We're being
Mm,
emotionally reactive. We are not being proactive. And what I mean is, if you have a situation that comes up often, your kids
mm,
aren't listening to you, they're not coming to dinner, they're not going to take their bath, they're not brushing their teeth, whatever they're not doing on a daily basis, it is up to you to find a proactive way to approach that
mm,
problem
mm,
instead of every day. How many parents do you hear? Oh, every day I have to fight with them on this. Every day I have to fight with them to brush their teeth, to fight with them to clean up. I have to fight with them to do this and this and this. And the problem is, once you start yelling at your children, like you mentioned, they get afraid of you. And that's when they take you seriously. Because at no other time, honestly, are you serious? If you go and you ask your child, honey, it's time to take a bath. It's time to take a bath. Stop playing. It's time to take a bath. And they do nothing. You come back, honey, time to take a bath. They're still playing. You come back 5 minutes later, honey, it's time to take a bath. Stop playing. And they do nothing. You come back 5 minutes later. Now you're ranting, you're raving, you're throwing toys across the room, and you're like, get in the bathtub now.
the honey
Now,
flies away.
right. Now you're serious. Whereas if you had said to that child to begin with, honey, I see you're playing. I
Mm.
get it. You can have 2 more minutes to play or 1 more minute to play. How much do you need? You know,
Mm.
2 minutes. Okay. So I'll give you 2 minutes and we'll put an alarm on. 2 minutes. I need you to go take a bath. Okay. Now, what has that done? That's shown him respect for what he's doing. Now, some of
Yeah.
you are probably thinking, yeah, but he's only playing. He's only playing with cars. That's not important. It's important to him. It is not important to you, but it is important to your child.
Mm.
So give him a minute to stop playing and
Mm.
then go take a bath. If he doesn't go, then there needs to be a consequence.
Mm.
Don't wait until you're screaming and yelling and asking 5, 6 times. There should be some kind of consequence if they don't listen. And maybe the consequence is if they're playing and they don't stop playing at 2 minutes, then maybe whatever they're playing with goes away for 24 hours. Okay, honey,
Mm.
well, you know what? You're not listening. You're not putting this away. It's time to take a bath. Take his hand, go get him into the bathtub. And this toy that you're playing with, this is going away now for 24 hours. You'll get it back in 24 hours. And hopefully in 24 hours, you'll make a better choice when it's time to stop and go do the next thing. Don't wait until you're yelling. Take action.
Mm.
Do something. Create a consequence. They're playing on a tablet. Tablets can easily be taken away. If they're not turning it off and you've asked them 3 times, you should have taken it away after the first or second time. Why are you
Mm.
waiting? Okay, you're not stopping your tablet. Well, you know what? Tablet's gone. Now, no more tablet. Now you have to go eat dinner. You
Mm.
know, you have
Mm.
to take action. They wait till you're yelling because that's when you're serious.
Okay, so you just I mean got right into the next question I wanted to ask. If we're not yelling, then what are the alternatives? You've talked about consequences, but one major issue that parents struggle with is appropriate consequences for the right age. So you have a toddler who is 12 months, 15 months, 20, who would not just, at that time, the tantrums are flying through the roof. So if you're not yelling, then what are the alternatives? Because for a toddler, and I'm saying this because I know you are an expert with toddlers, you have the child can express themselves, so they can't even tell you what they want. You always have to kind of guess through observation, and the child is not listening. It's throwing the tantrum when you all just want to rest. So, what are the alternatives? And the only way that child will keep quiet is when you yell. So, what are the
Exactly.
alternatives?
Well, part of the problem is you have to understand that our human brains don't fully develop till we're 25.
Okay.
So if you're talking to a 3-year-old, that child has 22 years to a developed brain. You cannot expect a 3-year-old to respond to you like an adult. It is not just difficult, it's impossible. They
Possible.
are not an adult. It's impossible for them to respond that way. Number
Mm.
two, if they're having a tantrum because you said no, or something didn't go their way, as they do, they'll have tantrums. And then you start screaming, yelling, throwing, hitting, all of that. Guess what you're doing? You're having a tantrum just like that, just
Mm.
like your child having it.
Mm.
And
Oh,
now
wow.
you're role modeling tantrums. So you're disappointed in your child. So what do? You have a tantrum. So
Oh.
you're teaching them that when they're disappointed, they get to have a
Mm.
tantrum.
Mm. Mm.
Screaming,
Mm.
a
Mm.
tantrum is losing control of your emotions. And you
Emotions.
can do it
Mm.
as a child, you can do it as an adult.
Mm.
I'm sure you all know plenty of adults, and maybe you, that rant, rave, cuss, hit, throw, whatever, because they're mad or disappointed. They're ranting and raving. That is a tantrum. It is no different than your toddler
Like
having
a
one.
toddler.
So if you cannot gain control over your own emotions, You are never going to be able to teach a child how to gain control over theirs.
Mm.
It is our job. We're not born with emotional regulation.
Mm.
We're born with a lot
Mm.
of emotions, yes, but we're not born with the ability to look at an emotion and go, what should we do with this? What should we do with this fact that we're mad? We don't have reasoning when we're born. We don't have any rationale. We don't have logic. It doesn't exist in their brain. You
Mm.
cannot expect a child, now let's look at this logically. Now, this is not going my way. What should I do? They can't do it. It
Yeah.
doesn't exist.
Mm.
So you have to teach your child emotional regulation.
Nation.
And if you can't regulate your emotions, you will never be able to teach them how to regulate theirs.
Mm.
You
Mm.
throwing a tantrum is not going to resolve their tantrum.
Mm.
And if you give into tantrums that your children have, you're just going to have more and more tantrums that last longer and longer.
So let's now go to emotional regulations. How can we parents cultivate that calm and patient demeanor? Especially,
Not so easy, right?
yes, especially during stress. Because, it's the most stressful time to raise children in the history of the whole world. I don't know, I've not been here before, but I think so. It's really stressful. We're dealing with a lot of fears. There are lots of people raving mad. I mean, you heard what happened, the man who killed a teenager, So you're dealing with so much, and then you still have work stress, marriage stress, everything. How can we regulate our emotions and keep that calm,
So,
patient?
yes. Well, first of all, remember when I said you have to be
Mm,
proactive? So, it
mm,
is really important for you to have a system in place. We have systems in place for everything. You
mm.
learn, you went to school to learn a career.
Yeah.
There is a system you needed to do. If
Um,
you're somebody who takes care of electricity, you have systems. If you're a doctor, you're an attorney, you're a coach, you're a teacher, there are systems.
mm,
But yet people feel like, well, parenting, anybody can parent.
grandparent.
Anybody can do it. We don't
Mm,
need a system.
mm,
Why? The most important responsibility we have as humans, we take it so lightly.
yeah.
We are raising another adult.
Adults.
We
Yeah.
are
True.
raising the next generation. And if we are parenting through anger, rage, screaming, yelling, you are going to raise another very angry, raging adult.
Mm,
Or you're going to raise somebody who is like all about keeping the peace
mm.
and avoids confrontation at all costs because
Yes.
they're
Yes.
afraid
That's the other
of being judged.
extreme. Mm,
Right.
mm.
So, like, if you right now, everyone that's listening, you can give us hearts or give us sometimes a reaction. If you second guess yourself, or you're worried about what other people think of you, or you really think that, you know what, everything I do is wrong, nothing I do is right. I really, I just can't get anything going my way. If you think these things, they were put there when you were a child. And if
Mm.
you are screaming and yelling at your child, you are putting those same thoughts in their head. And
Wow.
you are actually giving them all those little gifts of low confidence,
Mm,
low self esteem,
mm,
low self worth,
mm.
because they always are being judged. When you're
Yeah.
yelled at all the time, that is judgment. And then they're
Mm.
afraid to
Wow.
do anything because they might get screamed and yelled at.
Mm,
So then they grow up like, well, I'm not going to say anything because
mm.
somebody's going to judge me. or I'm not going to do what I think we should do because someone might judge me. Let somebody else do that. We
Mm-hmm.
grow up without confidence because we have grown up with this constant judgment by our parents.
Mm. Okay,
Something to think
so
about, right?
yeah, it's deep. It's deep. So how do we correct that? Being a chronic yeller, and let's just assume the gifts, the little gifts have been given already, low confidence and all of it. So how do we reverse it? Can it be reversed? Is it even possible? Can we
You can,
stop yelling?
absolutely. Absolutely. And the good news is it's never too late.
Mm-hmm.
It's never too late to become a better human being. It
Mm.
is never too late, unless you're dead. And if you're here listening to us, I'm assuming you're not dead. So it's never too late to learn a better way. Often, our kids will be yelling, we'll be yelling, and a parent will go, "You need a
Mm.
timeout. Go to your room." But let me tell you who needs the timeout. You do. You
Yeah.
parent, you need the timeout.
Mm.
You need to go chill out. If you are at the point where you are going to scream and yell at your children, if that's where you are, you need to take a timeout.
Mm.
You need to collect yourself. And I teach my clients a little acronym called PEPA, like Peppa Pig, only
Yeah.
not Peppa Pig. You drop one of the P. The P's for the pig, get rid of that extra P. So PEPA. If you can think of PEPA when you're getting elevated or ready to yell, or you feel like, I'm going to lose it, PEPA stands for P, pause,
Mm.
E, evaluate,
Mm.
P, plan, and
Mm.
A, act.
Mm.
Pause, evaluate, plan, act. PEPA. And the good news is, if PEPA, that word pumps into your head while you're getting kind of like elevated, you've already paused. You've
Mm.
already broke the cycle in your brain of
Mm.
reaching a point beyond control.
Mm.
Then you have to step back.
Mm.
You have to take a break. You have to be like, okay, what is really going on here? My child's upset, or my kids are fighting. What's going on here? Maybe my kids are fighting. Me yelling and joining the argument is not going to help, just going to
No.
make things worse. So maybe they're fighting. And the reason most siblings fight, friends, is because they're sick of each other. So give them a break. They've been around each other. Siblings, they're always being thrown together. Go play, go do this,
Yeah.
go do this. They get sick of each other. So stop putting them together all the time.
Mm.
Give them a break. And maybe you're like, you know what? They're probably just sick of each other. They've
Mm-hmm.
been playing together for a half hour. Let's just
Mm-hmm.
break them up, give them a chance, go to separate corners, whatever, read some books, calm down. So you evaluate what's going on. Then you make a plan. Okay, so I'm going to plan to, really give them some time to themselves. This
Mm-hmm.
will cool them down. This will relax them. They're not going to have to deal with each other.
Mm-hmm.
They'll just be able to calm themselves down. Then act. Go do it.
Mm.
Go do that plan you thought of.
Yeah.
So now you're approaching a situation, be it with one child, two child, whatever's going down,
Mm-hmm.
you're approaching it with a plan. You
Yeah.
are the one that's taken a step back. You
Mm.
are the one that's gotten a break. You are the one that's calming yourself down so you can see what truly is going on instead of just assuming and reacting emotionally. You're the one who's gaining control. And when you take a step back, you evaluate, you look at what's going on, and then you come back to your child or children being calmer. You have now taught them how they can calm
They can
down.
come
And if you're
down.
calm, you encourage them to respond calmly as well.
Mm. Okay. So when you talked about the pepper, the P in the plan, I'm assuming that the planning means strategies. And for some parents who do not have an adequate toolbox. They don't even know. So I'm pausing to evaluate. I'm planning, but I don't know what to do. So what are some of the strategies? What are some of the things that we can decide to do as part of the plan?
So this is what should be in your toolbox, okay? If you got a pen, start writing down, because I'm going to
Mm,
give you what should be in your parenting system. You
mm,
should have schedules and routines. They
mm-hmm,
are
mm-hmm,
You need to have limits and boundaries. You
mm-hmm,
need to have consequences, but you also need to have encouragement,
mm-hmm,
a way to encourage your children to want to cooperate.
mm-hmm.
Don't always threaten. Nobody's motivated by threats. If you're at work and somebody goes, if you don't get this done, you're fired. Is that motivating you? No.
No.
You're like, whatever, I'll just get it done. But if somebody says, you get this done, I'm sorry it's last minute, I need it in a half hour, can you do that? If you can do that, I'll tell you, I'll give you the rest of the day off.
Mm.
Then you're going to be like, heck yeah, I'm getting this done for you. Thank you, because that's showing respect.
Mm,
So they're never motivated by threats,
mm,
but there should be consequences. Why? Because we have consequences in life.
mm,
Things go our way, things are good, we got good
mm,
consequences. Things are
mm,
not so good, we got not so good consequences. That's life. So you
mm,
do need consequences, encouragement, schedules, routines, limits, boundaries. You also need to know how to speak calmly and kindly. That means we use manners. We
mm,
smile when we talk. We are pleasant. We are respectful. You need to have connection time. So you need to have time when you're spending intentional one-on-one time with your child, so that your
mm,
child isn't constantly begging for your
mm.
attention through
Yeah,
negative ways, banging on it,
yeah.
throwing
Mm,
things, screaming,
mm,
because they
mm,
want your attention.
mm,
Attention to a child doesn't matter if
mm,
it's attention or positive attention. If a
mm.
child, if you're busy doing stuff and they're trying to get your attention, they're like, mommy, mommy, mommy. And then they scream, ah, and you turn around and look at them, they got your attention.
Mm,
Whereas the first time they said, mommy, you could have turned around and said, honey, I'm fixing dinner. Why don't you help me?
mm,
Dinner.
mm,
Let's get dinner done. And then you can tell me what you want to tell me.
mm,
Give them positive attention. When they're doing things right, let them know it. Don't just say,
mm,
oh, yeah, my kid does a lot of things right.
mm.
When I start with my clients, the conversation will begin, what went right this week? And a
Wow.
lot of parents that are having trouble with their children, they'll be like, honestly, I can't think of anything. And I'll say, okay, then let me ask you, did they wake up this morning without you making them wake
Wake
up?
up.
Yes. Did they get dressed without you having to dress them? Yes.
Yes.
Did they go eat breakfast without you having to ask them?
Yes.
Yes. Did they get to school on time? Yes. I'm like, well, there's four things right there that they did right. The
You know
thing
how
we have
the
to realize,
brain
kids
tends to
do
pay
more
attention
right.
to the negatives.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
They do much more right than not
Mm,
right.
mm,
But we have to switch and start noticing. Use that example of the kids fighting.
mm,
Most situations will be your kids will be playing nicely, and
mm.
you'll be able to take a phone call, do some work, and then they
Yeah.
start fighting.
Mm.
What will most parents do? Most parents will stop what they're doing, go in there and scream at those kids for
Cream, yeah.
fighting.
Yeah.
What should most parents do? Most of them, when you're getting your work done and they're playing so nice, you should walk in there and say, guys, thank you so much for playing nicely. I
Mm.
really appreciate it. I'm almost done my work. We're going to go do something together when I'm done. And show them that you notice them playing correctly. If a fight breaks out, don't even mention the fight.
Mm.
The fight's because they're sick of being together, like I said.
Yeah.
So just talk about what they did right.
Mm.
If you notice what your kids do right all along, and you mention it to them school on time. Thank you for putting the dishes in the dishwasher.
Wow.
Thank you for helping me set the table. Thank you for helping with your brother. Whatever it is, they will want to do more of that than less of it, because kids want to make you proud of
Mm,
them.
mm, mm. Wow. So much. Wow, 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 wow. One of the things that parents struggle with especially is guilt. Okay, so I know I'm not supposed to have done this. Probably 5 years have gone down the line, 8 years have gone down the line. I'm just realizing this, and there's a lot of guilt, or, some even shame. How do they deal with that? You know?
But the important thing to remember is that guilt is kind of a wasted emotion,
Mm,
because we spend our time focusing on something that we feel badly about or we did, instead of focusing on what we can do to turn it around.
mm,
If we feel guilty about a behavior that we did to our children, like yelling, I
mm,
shouldn't have yelled. I
mm.
can't believe I yelled. I woke up this
Yeah.
morning and really said, I'm not yelling. I'm not yelling. And then what do? I start yelling. What is wrong with me? And you start beating yourself up over it. Instead, walk over to your children and say, hey guys, I don't know. I had a bad day at work. I should not have come in here and started yelling at you. I'm sorry. Let's do it all over. You're allowed do-overs. And you're allowed to apologize, because when you apologize, you give your children permission to apologize when they do something that's not intentional.
Very true.
That's the best way to
Mm,
conquer guilt. Do not,
mm.
and let me throw this into you. Do not, do not parent from guilt.
Yes.
What by
Yes.
that? So, say you get a divorce and you're feeling so bad because your child's going through a divorce. Now you are giving in to your child's every whim. They're crying. They want this. They want candy. They want a toy. They want this. Everything they want, they get because you feel so guilty. You are doing your children a huge disservice. My
Mm,
children went through a divorce. They survived it. It was a healthy divorce, if divorces can be healthy,
yeah.
because I did not just parent through guilt. I parented with intention.
Mm,
I parented knowing that these kids need to be grown-ups one day, and they
exactly.
need to experience disappointment, so
Yes.
that when disappointment happens in life, which it will, they're not devastated.
Mm,
We all want to make our kids happy all the time, but that is unrealistic.
mm,
No person is happy 100% of the time. Welcome
mm,
to life when things don't go your way. And
mm.
if you are giving your children the idea that everything is going to go their way, they are going to become miserable adults,
Yes.
because they won't know how to deal with disappointment.
Yes.
They won't understand that sometimes things happen, but it's okay,
Mm-hmm.
because we can look at it and plan a better way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
And I mean,
parenting
just
through guilt is horrible.
yeah. Yeah, and I mean, a lot of parents are doing that now, especially maybe because they felt they were abused, and now they want to ensure that their children are fine, or they didn't have a privileged background, and now they want to make sure, and then they just go, just like you said, and that's why we're having a lot of mental health issues, because we have a lot of children who have become adults and are not equipped. And you see, the divorce rate is going so high. I'm saying that because it's a family, today's international family, the divorce rate is going so high because we do not have resilient adults anymore. Nobody wants to stay in and work it out. It's the microwave generation.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
So it's the lollipop. Give me my lollipop. I don't care if you have or if you just give me. I need my happiness. I need my happiness. And life is not like that, you know.
It's
So
exactly.
I'm so glad. Thank you, Cecile, for really sharing this insightful nuggets. I'm sure everyone who's joined this session is super duper happy and appreciative. I know you said you had the program that you wanted to talk about.
I do. And before I do that, Toyin, let me just say one thing since you mentioned relationships. Remember I said for children that you want to notice the good they do. You want to
Exactly.
notice the effort they're putting in. Let me tell you, friends, that goes with your partner.
Mm,
You want to have a rich relationship. I've been married to my second husband now for almost 30 years. You want to do that. What makes it last a long time is to appreciate each other,
mm,
just like
mm,
you appreciate your children.
mm,
Couples split up because someone feels unappreciated, unvalued, they feel invisible, so they
mm, mm,
do the same for your partner as you do for your kids. Start noticing
mm.
them. Start being grateful for the effort. Don't be like, well, they're supposed to do that.
Yes.
I don't care if they're supposed to. They did it. Thank them.
Mm, mm,
Grateful. Be appreciative. Your relationships will last and grow if you change one thing, and that is start appreciating that other person.
mm.
And yes, I do have a great program, and thank you for letting me offer it. You guys want a system? I put together a 21-day stop yelling system. This is a systematic approach to parenting so that you don't have to yell. You don't have reasons to get upset. You're actually removing the need to yell because now you are creating cooperation and listening skills and harmony
Yeah.
in 21 days.
Mm,
Where will you be in 21 days if you don't act now?
mm.
Same place, even worse. Still yelling like, oh, I listened to that whole woman with Toyin and I didn't do anything. Take action. And if you want the quit yelling system, 21 days to stop yelling, go to quityelling.com.
Mm.
But we'll have a special code for you. If you put in the code podcast, you will get 60%, actually a little more than 60% off. Extremely
Wow.
reasonable. The best money you ever spent, less than like a cup of coffee every day, a lot less because coffee's expensive. It and change your family. Stop
Mm.
yelling. Start feeling like a great parent instead of a parent that is constantly making mistakes. How
Mistakes.
would you feel if 21 days from now, even sooner, you were no longer yelling at your
Mm,
kids? You were
mm.
one of the parents who said, you know what? We cooperate. My kids do what I ask them the first
Yeah.
time. They're listening to me. They're smiling. They're not afraid of
Yeah.
me. They adore
Yes.
me. There are more hugs. There's more thank you, mom. Thank you, dad. I love you. How would that feel?
Mm, mm.
So it's at quityelling.com, coupon code podcast.
Thank you so much, Cecile. I mean, this is amazing. I didn't know you would give us up to 60%.
So
Oh my God.
happy to do it.
Christmas, Christmas came early.
Yeah, what a great gift that would be for someone else.
Yes, yes. I just want to say, one of the reasons we're doing this is because today is the International Family Day. And just like I said at the beginning, strengthening family bonds, one of the main ways is to stop yelling. She said something amazing. Appreciate your spouse. And she's been able to create a system where if you are a chronic yeller, you can walk your way out of it. Deliver yourself out of it in 21 days. So I expect everyone to take advantage of this this challenge. And thank you so much, Cecile. We have our discipleship parenting page. It was pulled down by Instagram. We're building all over again. It's the most
Oh, I'm
discouraging thing,
so
but
sorry.
we're
I'm
doing it. We're talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
resilience, so we're
Hey,
doing it.
you can't get upset because stuff happens, right?
Yeah.
You got control over you, no one
Yes.
else. So you just got to take it in stride, turn your stress into success. So just gotta just
Exactly. Turn your stress into success.
exactly.
I'm running with that word.
But I know I actually just thought of that this morning. I was like, oh, that's so nice and rhymey. Turn your
Yeah.
stress into success.
Honestly, it's just been an amazing session. So please go over to our page, follow our page. We were supposed to do the live on our page, but Instagram says it's still a new page, and so we have to wait. Well, we can't control. I mean, we're using their platform, so we have to follow their guidelines. So we had to do this today because I always like to give you guys good stuff, anything for families, and that's why I got to still here, and it's been amazing. It's just been like boom, 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 full
Thank you for having.
PowerPoint session. Thank
Follow
you
the new
so
page.
much.
You got to follow the new page, and you have to share out your new page. So
Yes.
follow it and then share it to someone else because got to get those followers back up.
Yes, thank you so much. So, help us share the links with every other person to follow the page.
You're
Thank you
so
so much. Head on to quityelling.com. Am I correct?
quick.
Quityelling.com.
Yelling.com. Yep. But
Yes,
don't
put
get
the
the coupon code podcast.
yes, podcast, and please get on the challenge. I have been on the challenge, and I'm telling you, it's an amazing, amazing system. I don't give or I don't preach what I don't do. So, even as a parenting coach, I'm still on a journey. I'm still on a journey. So, we're always learning.
You're you're so welcome to everybody saying thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. So we'll have to go now because I have to jump in another call. But I want to just say thank you so much, Cecile. I always love to have you.
I
I'm
love being here
so
with you.
I'm so grateful. I reached out to her and she said, "Oh, yes, 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 yes." That's why I love her so much. Thank you.
You're
I'm so grateful.
so welcome. I'm so sorry we're so far away. We can't hug. One day we'll be with each other. We can give each other a hug.
Definitely that time will come very
Yep.
soon.
Absolutely.
That time will come.
Thank you for having me. I
Thank
really,
you, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Cecile. And do have an amazing day. If it's in the morning, afternoon, evening, enjoy yourself. Thank you, everyone, and happy International Family Day. Share this session with all your family and friends. Everybody needs to listen to what was shared today. God bless you all. Take care. Bye.